We're live. I think we are live. I hope we are live. Are we live? I got a thumbs up. We are live. Okay, guys. This is going to be a bit of a crazy night, obviously, for the country, also for us and this live stream right here. So first off, we are at the Tampa Convention Center here at DeSantis Campaign Headquarters. Victory party, freedom loving, Florida freedom, the whole thing. It's all happening right here at the Tampa Convention Center. We had a studio set up in an alternate room with beautiful lighting. We were going to do our whole thing in there, and then at the last minute we were like, wait, we need to be in the room. So it's going to be loud, okay? I'm telling you right now, we're doing some of this on the fly. I think you can tell by the lighting, bit of a party atmosphere in here. They've got the Fox feed running. There's literally thousands of people here. It's the convention center, so it's absolutely massive. You can tell the feeling here is really fantastic. Like, people are just psyched. There's just such a feeling of that, regardless of what happens throughout the country tonight, although everyone's feeling pretty good about that it just has been done right here, and it's a real celebration of the guy who's going to be coming on stage in about a half hour from now, obviously, Governor Ron DeSantis. Some early numbers are trickling in. I've got an iPad that is connected to the internet, so my guys can give me some numbers on the fly. I'm sure many of you are watching, probably on a computer or a phone or an iPad. You got a TV on. Sounds like something good is being reported on Fox right at the moment. But yeah, there's a real feeling that this wave is going to happen. You don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but I'm just super psyched to be here in Florida and doing this. So bear with us if we have some technical stuff and some audio stuff. The Lieutenant Governor of Florida, Jeanette Munoz, is going to join us in a few minutes. Also, Congressman Byron Donalds, who is the congressman from the Fort Myers, Naples, Sanibel area, dealing with all this Hurricane Ian craziness. He's going to join us. Fox News' Lisa Booth is going to join us. Carol Markowitz from the New York Post is going to join us. John Cardillo is going to join us. We are going to try to get the governor. That is the plan after he speaks. But as I think you'll probably hear, the guy has pretty much lost his voice. He has been out there, despite all the polling and all the energy and all the numbers. He's been out there alongside Casey DeSantis, the First Lady, and they have been campaigning, busting their butts. So his voice is going a little bit, but hopefully we'll get him. But it's a serious celebration here. One of the many bars is about 10 feet away, so I will probably bust out some tequila once we get the official numbers from Florida. And I think we have the Lieutenant Governor coming in just a couple minutes. And we're just really doing this on the fly, guys. And we appreciate you watching, whether you're on Rumble or Locals or on YouTube right now. I voted this morning, and I think we've got the Lieutenant Governor right now. We're going to get her mic'd up real quick, and then we're just going to jump right into it. Yeah, we can get you on in there. We're doing this all on the fly. We're going to get you mic'd up. Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Munoz, we'll give her just a minute to get settled. Don't worry, the camera won't be on you just yet. There is such a good feeling here in Florida, guys. I got to tell you, I mean, for those of you that live in Florida, you get it. For those of you that just watch my show or whatever it might be, you're just reading about what's going on here in Florida, there really is just there is a renaissance of freedom. How you feeling? We're ready to roll? Are you mic'd? Oh, you're not mic'd up. She's not mic'd up. I told you guys we're doing this on the fly. Let's get the Lieutenant Governor mic'd up. People walking across the camera, what I tell you guys.
Where's the mic?
As I said, we had a studio over there. We wanted to be in the party atmosphere, so we're just going for it tonight. This is called live production. There you go, walking under the camera. From what I'm hearing, let's just quickly, as I wait for the Lieutenant Governor to check in here. Right now, we're seeing that Governor DeSantis is up 8 points in Miami-Dade County, which is absolutely massive, with 60% in. He lost Miami-Dade by 20 points back in 2018. So it's worth noting that not only are the numbers changing, but as I said several times on the show the last couple of weeks, Governor DeSantis, Congressman at the time DeSantis, only won in 2018. That's only 4 short years ago. He only won Florida by about 30,000 votes. So something really remarkable. has happened here in Florida, and I really believe it is the blueprint that has to be mapped across all of the country. A couple other things that are rolling in at the moment is that Republican governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine, is expected to win his re-election, according to Fox News. And as I said, Fox is going right behind us, so we're just going to do this all on the fly. Guys, can I throw to the Lieutenant Governor? All right,
I think
Jeanette
we're ready.
Munoz.
How are
Holy
you?
cow. I told the guys that, I just told my audience, we had a nice studio in a side room ready to go. It's going to be nice and quiet. And at the last minute, I forced everybody to do it right here in the
energy.
What do you make of what is going on here tonight and broadly in Florida?
Well, I mean, I think this is the beginning of a movement, right? It is a movement that recognizes what we've done, what Governor DeSantis has done in Florida, protecting people's liberties, making sure that kids could get a quality education without indoctrination, protecting parents' rights, and ultimately making sure that people could live their lives, open their businesses, run their businesses, have employees come to work. And what you're seeing here is the culmination of a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. New Floridians, old Floridians, people that have lived here all their lives, 7th generation Floridians, and everyone realizes that what we've done here is probably nothing short of historic.
Do we new Floridians owe the OG Floridians anything? I mean, I know we owe you guys. You did it right. We owe you something. Do you want cash? What do you people want from us?
You owe us your vote, which is what I think we got.
You got it from her, you got it from him, you got it from everyone that I brought, you got it from everybody.
There you
Can you
go.
talk a little bit about what it was like at the height of COVID, when the governor really, people forget now, like as if everything was open the whole time and everything else. But when the governor really was going against Fauci, going against the CDC, fighting to keep everything open, you alongside him, obviously, what kind of pressure was brought to bear on you guys?
It was a tremendous amount of pressure from the corporate media, from all the liberal elites, from the establishment, folks that thought they knew better, everyone from Fauci on down. They were criticizing us. They were saying that we were going to be, the worst thing, that Florida was going to be, the kiss of death. And so, the governor stayed the course. He didn't flinch. He did not cave to the pressures that came from all over. And I think that that's a testament to his leadership style, his courage. And then I think people recognize a leader when they see him. Someone that's willing to make tough decisions, because they were difficult decisions. Let's not kid ourselves. Not a lot was known at the time, a lot of fear, a lot of panic, a lot of it driven by the media. But he made those difficult decisions. He stood firm, and he realized that he was doing what was in the best interest of Floridians. And if that was going to cost him his job, so be it. But I think the proof is in the pudding here. What we're seeing, again, the amount of people that have moved to Florida, the amount of people that can come to us and tell us, I have my job because of you. I was able to keep my family business because of you. My child was able to get an education because of you. That's above any one individual. That's above any one particular race. So that's why I always say freedom was on the ballot this time.
Do you think he was fully trained for this, or did he grow into it? Because it now seems easy to look back and be like, oh, he did the right stuff. But sometimes people actually, it happens to them on the fly. And since you know him in a more intimate way than everyone watching.
So what I would say is that leadership traits are always there, right? So courage, bravery, commitment, principle, not someone that's going to waver and going to, take a committee and do a poll on every single decision. He led, and I think that that's always intrinsically who he is. But of course you have to learn on the fly. You have to sift through data. You have to trust your instincts. You have to, again, be willing to make difficult decisions that may not be popular. But when things settle, when the dust settles, and when we saw all the different moving parts as related to COVID, and beyond that, obviously hurricanes and other things, other crises we've had to deal with, building collapses, things that weren't in the playbook, right? He developed his own playbook, but I think his experience in the military, his convictions and principles really led the way, and that made it easy for him to sort of adjust and adapt to whatever we had thrown at us.
All right, I got one more for you, because I'm sure you want to get out there with all the people as well. Going on the assumption that tonight works out, and I sense that we're pretty much okay saying that here. What do you guys have planned for the next couple of years? I mean, things are going pretty well.
I think they are going well, and we want to make sure that they continue to go well. So a lot that we still have to tackle, a lot on education, a lot on the environment. I think the governor has already talked a lot about combating some of that corporate wokeness like ESG and continuing down that path because we see what's happening. Clearly, we want to tackle some of the issues of the day that impact Floridians from every walk of life. Property insurance, we'll be working on a special session to address some of those issues. And then, who knows what the next 4 years has in store for us. I'm sure it'll be interesting. It's always fun. It's always, a lot of energy. And he's someone that, again, energy in the executive and a lot of decisiveness you're going to get out of him.
Well, Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Munoz, I thank you for your service, and it's an exciting night. Get out there and
thank you.
Are you drinking with the people?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, a little early for the drinks. Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's you're good. You are totally free. I think that's just a little taste of what's going on here in Florida, right? It's not about what the government can give you. It's not about what these people are going to really do for you. It's about how can we create the conditions to keep you free, and that is our plan. That is their plan, and I would say it's our plan. As anyone that's here that is a free Floridian, who are we going to get? We're going to get Carol Markowitz, New York Post's Carol Markowitz is going to join us in just a moment. Carol, we're doing this on the fly, lady. We're going to mic you up. Carol, for those of you that do not know, although many of you do from the show, Carol is also a new Floridian transplant from Brooklyn. Carol, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you moved like literally the same week that I moved,
right around the same time.
I got here on December 17th, 2020.
Oh, so I was like 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later than me. Yeah,
but you and I are very parallel existence over here.
Well, I guess I'll ask you something unrelated to Florida for a second. But since you left New York, you were a Brooklynite. You left New York. I was born in Brooklyn, grew up in Long Island, lived in New York City most of my life. What do you think is going to happen in New York tonight?
So it's the one that I want the most, so it's hard to be clear-headed about it. I really want Lee Zeldin to win. It's funny because a lot of people think because I left, I want New York to fail, or I want it to collapse. I want it to come back. I don't need to be there for it to come back. I just want it to succeed. And I think Lee Zeldin will be such a good first step. In my heart of hearts, I'm trying not to get too wrapped up in it because I don't think it happens. But if it does, that'll be such a pleasant surprise.
You don't think it'll happen? You don't think it'll happen?
It's so tough. New York City is so hard to overcome. Even if he gets a lot of upstate and Long Island, I'm trying not to give people false hope. But look, if he wins, we're all so happy, and it's what a great turnout.
I believe you have to have hope, whether it's false hope
stupid.
or real hope. Hope is stupid. What Andy Dufresne said? You have to have hope.
I hate that movie.
No, you're literally the only person
That's
that hates.
the worst movie.
Somehow that came up a couple of weeks ago that you hate Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, I hate Shawshank Redemption.
The movie about freedom. You burrowed out of
That movie's so bad.
You swam in crap to get to Florida.
And then,
all right, so you moved to Florida. Things obviously have been great here.
Yeah.
I mean,
what could be bad, right?
It's nothing. I mean, I guess that's what people always ask me. Well, Dave, it can't all be great.
Right. I mean, I'm honest when people ask me, I miss my family. Halloween was different. It wasn't quite what it was in Brooklyn.
Come down to the burbs by
I know.
We had sick Halloween.
It was good. It just wasn't. Brooklyn Halloween is sort of an amazing thing. But I really don't miss anything. I don't feel a longing for New York like I thought I would, and I love it here so much. I wake up happy and calm all the time.
Yeah, is that what it is? I mean, I've asked you this, I'm sure, a couple of times when we talk about it privately, but is that it more than anything else? It's not all the political stuff necessarily, although that's annoying.
Yeah.
But that's what I try to explain to people. There's a spirit of freedom here that makes people happier and more joyous, and it's what our default position should be.
It should be, right?
Not the neurotic anger that so many people are walking around
but
with.
it helps that I don't have to worry about my kids in school. It's a big thing. So I don't know what are they cheering?
What are they doing? Something. I think they just like Dana Perino's hair.
I like Dana Perino's hair too.
I love Dana Perino's hair. So, all right. So basically, even if you think that Zeldin thinks 50-50, you think that the rest of the night this looks pretty solid.
I think things look really good. I would say that the one that I'm most worried about is probably Georgia. I just don't have a lot of faith in their election.
Yeah.
And
What do we do about that? I mean, you're an actual journalist
know,
where I don't
yeah.
have to go like this. What do we do
I
about
really
this
don't
lack of
know.
faith?
It's very tough. I mean, just hearing all the problems they're having in like Arizona, this should not be the norm. We don't live in a third world country. I'm the most pro-America person, and it crushes me that we can't have good elections. It really is a problem. Look, Florida does it right. Like, why can't they just copy Florida? You know?
Wasn't it refreshing today? I mean, when I voted
it's so
today,
good.
to go
Yeah.
in with a pen,
Yeah.
actually mark it down, put it in an envelope, then walk it over to.
Oh, is that how you had?
Well, it wasn't.
Well,
it was put it in like a folded
Yeah.
thing. Then
Yeah.
I walk it over to another person
Right.
who confirms that I am me, even though that I was right there at the machine.
Showing ID.
Showing
Crazy.
ID.
Yeah.
It really was such a joy. I was like, oh, this place is functional.
Right, it's exactly. It's functional. It's totally different than voting in New York. Voting in New York is insane. I think Monica Crowley posted that she got 2 ballots in New York, and like she returned hers. But what if she hadn't? You know, and then somebody voted twice. There's a lot of problems, and I wonder if the problem is that a lot of people don't want to solve those problems. They like having those issues because I think they're very solvable problems. I don't think this is rocket science.
Isn't it weird in a way? It's almost like the default position is that nothing works. So when things don't work, we're
Right.
all just like, oh,
Right.
sure, elections always used to be done at midnight, but now they're 3-week adventures. And people are like, oh, well.
That's how it
nothing
is now,
works.
right? That's just the thing that we do now.
Yeah.
But Florida's so interesting because they had some election trouble, and then they decided, like, no, we're going to fix this, and then they fixed it. And just living in a state where that happens is so magical and, you know, encouraging.
We really should both have side gigs as real estate agents in Florida. I think that's how-
Move to Florida.
Would you like to
Yeah.
make any other predictions or commentary on this evening? And then they're giving me the signal.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a real tsunami, a red tsunami. I think Miami-Dade going red. I think
Yeah,
that
that's
sounds
what
very
we're thinking
plausible.
right now.
I think maybe Palm Beach County goes red, which would be insane, but you know, maybe. I don't know. Governor by at least 7, maybe by 10. DeSantis.
7-10. I'm saying 14. I'm nuts.
14 is a lot.
I'm nuts.
A lot. 7 is a lot
The
for
thing is, I
Florida.
have to say 14 because I think I said to him when we did the Orlando show, I was backstage with him, just the two of us. This was back in June, and I said, Governor, I think I either said 14 or 15. You're going to win by 14 or 15. He laughed in my face. So I want it to be just for the story, just for the story to work out.
Okay. Yeah.
Carol, get
Thank
out
you
there,
so much,
have a
Dave.
drink with
Thank
the
you.
people.
I will. 3 drinks.
I'm going to keep yelling at the camera
All
for a
right.
while. We'll see who we have next.
All right. Thank you.
All right, who do we have next? We have Byron Donalds. Congressman Byron Donalds is going to come in a few minutes. I'm actually thrilled he's here. You know, so Congressman Byron Donalds is the congressman from Southwest Florida. That's Fort Myers, Naples, Sanibel, Captiva area. Obviously, Hurricane Ian just completely decimated the area. Even coming here today, we drove across Florida. When you drive through Southwest Florida, 75, it's known as Alligator Alley because you're basically on one road. You got like a long moat, Everglades on the side, and you're seeing alligators and birds and whatever. But as we got towards Southwest Florida, the further west we came, started seeing more of the destruction and just old, awesome trees that were toppled over and roofs that are ripped off and all sorts of stuff. But Florida is rebuilding so incredibly fast. It's really remarkable. So the congressman's on his way in just a minute. I'll give you some numbers. I'm sure you guys are watching on many screens at this point. Right now is 63% in here in Florida, and we'll try to widen out of Florida. I get I'm very Florida focused right now. We have Marco Rubio, a little over 54%, Val Demings about 44%, so that's looking good. DeSantis up by 13 points right now, 56 to 43 for Charlie Crist. 13 points. I want DeSantis at 14, 15 points. And with 16% in Georgia, which is a very low number, obviously, Raphael Warnock, 56%, and Herschel Walker at 43. But that's very early, so we'll see about that. But let's take it back to Florida right now. Congressman Byron Donalds, good to see you, man.
Man, it's good to be with you.
I'm glad to be talking to you. Let's do some of the hard lifting first, and then we'll talk about what's going on here tonight. So how is Southwest Florida? What should people know? As I was just telling people driving across Alligator Alley today, it was the first time I saw some of the destruction and trees down and everything. What's the latest? What are you doing? How can we help?
Well, I mean, the latest right now is we're very
Barrier Islands, they're in pretty bad shape. It's going to take some time for them to get back to where they are. A lot of places are back. They're back open. If you're kind of in the mainland area, but as you get closer to the beach, a lot of flooding occurred. That's where real damage is. Having the bridges back open, the governor did the right thing, cut the red tape, cut the bridges back open.
How did you do it so quickly? I mean, that Sanibel Causeway, it was busted in 10 different areas. It's a huge bridge. How did it happen?
Well, the people got to understand is when it comes to actually doing the work actually doesn't take much time. It's all the checks, the permits, all the different things you got to do. That's what takes the time. So when you're committed to just triaging the situation and getting it done, it's pretty simple work. We had contractors who said you could do it in about 4 weeks if you can get through all the red tape and all the bureaucracy, put shovels in the ground and boots down on the ground to get it done.
And you did it. You did it basically in less than 4 weeks. How can people help at this point?
Right now, go to FloridaDisasterFund.org. That's a huge help for everybody. FloridaDisasterFund.org. We're going to be using that to try to help people who have just damage where maybe they didn't have insurance, maybe something happened, they don't know what's going on in a personal situation, to try to find ways to help them build back. Other than that, man, the spirit of people in Southwest Florida is really, really strong.
Yeah.
They want to get back. They want to rebuild. It's a positive thing overall.
What's the event on December 1st? I'm going to try to get there. Isn't there a big event December 1st?
So it's actually a benefit concert. It's going to be at Alico Arena. We're going to have Leonard Skinner, Ted Nugent, many other acts are going to be there.
Yeah.
All going to support people in Southwest Florida, help them rebuild from Hurricane Ian.
All right, cool. I'm going to try to come to that. Now let's talk about what's going on here tonight. I was telling my audience we had a nice quiet studio in another room over there, and then at the last second I was like, we got to get in this room. No matter how loud it is, I don't know if anyone can hear us or they're just hearing Fox in the background. There is something incredible going on in Florida. Are you born and bred Floridian?
No, I'm a New Yorker, man.
You're a New Yorker?
I'm New York, born and raised.
Oh,
Crown Heights, Brooklyn. That's
I'm born in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah?
In Bensonhurst.
Bensonhurst?
Yeah.
Crown Heights.
So all right. So how long you been here?
I went to college. I came to college here in 1996. And so when I came here after college, when I graduated in 2002, I had a choice: go back home or stay in Florida. I made the right decision. I stayed in Florida, and the rest is going from there.
So what is happening here in these last couple of years? Do you remember a moment that it started, that now Florida is the blueprint of freedom, not only for the country, but I think for the whole world?
Well, it's a couple of things. First and foremost, we've had consistent governance by conservatives in the state legislature, in the governor's mansion. But then what really changed it, honestly, was COVID-19. When COVID hit, it demonstrated clearly to everybody who was for freedom and who was for just controlling every aspect of your life. All of the political arguments we had in the past came to reality, and people saw it firsthand. So you had a lot of people leave their states and come to Florida. Fortunately for us, we had a governor who was committed to the freedom of the people of Florida. And now the results on election night are the fruits of all of that.
Yeah, and you're saying that before we got the results, so you're feeling pretty
Listen,
good.
man, I can tell you, I know this state. I've seen the state, been through it, talked to the people, and it's not just in Florida, it's people all across the country. There are people in other states who wanted to get to Florida. They didn't have escape velocity. They had something that was still keeping them in their state. They wanted to be here, but they couldn't. But then the new people who come, when you talk to them, they're like, man, I should have came here a lot sooner. What was going on in my home state was terrible, but I'm glad I'm in Florida because I just want to go to the beach. I want to go to a restaurant. I just want to hang out with my friends and not be bothered, not be persecuted because I want to live my life.
What kind of strains has that put on the local communities when all these new people move in? So, you know, I'm in the Miami area. Obviously, real estate is crazy right now because, you know, 300,000 new people come into Florida. It increases the housing. So that's one thing. What other stresses are there? And what can all the new people that are appreciative, what can we do? That's what I just asked the Lieutenant Governor. How can we help more?
Listen,
I want the OGs to feel appreciated.
It's about real estate and roads. It's going to be tough because we brought so many people into the state. And this is why I try to explain to Joe Biden and those guys. When you have a lack of product, but everybody's got money, the prices go up. Well, in Florida,
we
didn't have.
Explain economics to Biden.
I got to do my job, man. That's what people send me to do.
Yeah.
But listen, when you have a limited amount of housing, which, I mean, if Florida, we have housing stock issues because people keep moving here. But when you have so many people come and then they have the money to spend, the prices go up. Secondarily, roads. The roads were built for an estimate of X amount of people. Why showed up? Because the Democrats don't know what they're doing in the blue states. So it was a good problem to have overall. Now where we are, you kind of get an opportunity for that to settle in. We're going to open, build more houses, stuff like that. Hopefully at the federal level, we get our economy back on track and we get inflation under control. So your home builders, your electricians, your roofers, they're not having to pay through the nose for their materials, which then falls on the back of the people who actually buy the homes.
Byron, I want you to get out there and party with the people. I thank you for your time. We'll do this again. I'm going to try to come to the event on the 1st.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right, Congressman Byron Donalds. And we're just gonna keep rolling through. Should we grab Liz Wheeler? All right, Congressman, you are free.
Free to go.
You are free to do your thing. We're gonna grab Liz Wheeler in just a second. As you can see, little chaos. It's live, man. It's live. I tell you one thing. It's more real than what's going on MSNBC or CNN. Has the crying begun yet? Has the crying begun on MSNBC yet? Are they crying on MSNBC yet? The crying has begun. So let me just see if I got some updated numbers here. The last numbers I'm looking at here in Florida, that 56% DeSantis, 43 Crist, is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I don't know if you guys saw it. There was a clip going viral from CBS News, I think it was, earlier today, where they sent some people out and about in Florida just trying to find Charlie Crist supporters, and they literally could not find anybody. It was actually quite hilarious. I have a non-Floridian with me.
That's true, although you've made your best efforts to turn me into one.
Yes, you are a non-Floridian yet, Liz Wheeler of the Liz Wheeler podcast and many-time Rubin Report guest. What brings you to Florida on a night like this?
This electric energy.
Isn't this wild?
This is wild. And it's not just in this building, which is incredible. It's across the whole state. Miami-Dade.
Crazy.
DeSantis lost by 20 points in 2018.
He lost by 20 in 2018. He's up by about 12 right now. I mean, that's crazy.
It's crazy. It shows that the American people aren't stupid, that they don't want the wokeness that the Democratic Party offers, and that they understand that Republicans are offering them lower gas prices, more affordable energy bills, parental control over education, and freedom instead of COVID tyranny.
So one of the all right, something good is happening. Oh yeah, all right. So Marco Rubio. All right, they just called it. There you go. We're doing this on the fly, people. So they just called Marco Rubio will officially remain the senator from right here in Florida. We thought that was going to happen, but it's still nice.
We did, but did you see that margin?
What was
That's
it?
a significant margin. It was a margin of 12.
It was a margin of 12. That's
12.
All right. So beautiful. So good things are happening. So one of the reasons that I love you, Liz, is every time you come on my show, you lay out facts. A lot of people just kind of talk about stuff. You lay out facts, and in some ways, this election to me, not just here in Florida, but it seems like an election of reality. Like, are we going to live in non-reality with boys as girls and girls as boys and everything else, and everyone's racist? All right? Alabama has been called. We expected that one, so that's okay. But you must feel pretty good that people seem to just want reality again. That's what I really think this is about.
I think what's happened in our country in the last 2 years is that the things that you and I have been talking about for maybe decades has finally touched people.
I've only had about 6 years.
That's right. You're like a baby. It's finally touched people's lives, and I'm sad to say that because I don't want critical race theory and the transgender ideology and inflation and crime to touch people's lives. But when they realize that it's going to negatively impact them, they realize it's not arbitrary, it's happening because of...
All right. Oh my! That's a good one, people. That's 15, that was the number. He knows it. Oh, it's called. That was it. That was it. That was it. 15 points. 15. I told the governor on June 2nd, the two of us in Orlando in the green room, I said you're going to win by 15 points. He laughed in my face. All right, Governor DeSantis. That is awesome. Well, all right. So the night has just begun here. The governor, I'm sure, is probably drinking some tea. The guy lost his voice, basically. So
I don't blame him.
yeah,
He's been talking to people. He's been walking the walk. 15 points.
15 points. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Hey, you want to make any other predictions tonight? Anything else?
I think it's going to be Republicans taking back the House and Republicans taking back the Senate. I think it's going to be a red wave. Because the red wave is not politicians, right?
Yeah.
It's us. We've been negatively impacted by the Biden administration. We've been negatively impacted by a Democrat Congress. And we're all saying, I don't think so. It's time for that to end.
DeSantis is about to return to America. Thank you, Liz. Now
Next
get
thing-
out there. I keep telling all my guests, go out there and have a drink. You don't drink.
That's true, but I'll lift up some club soda for you.
Go have a club soda with lime. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
All right, well, this night is already turning out to be better than anticipated so far. I didn't think they were going to call it this early for Florida. 15 points. Obviously, the margins can change a little bit here or there, but that's awesome. Rubio by 12. Is that Rubio by 12? Okay. I've got a couple numbers here. Yeah, well, let me sign this for you. How you doing? There you go. Fighting to keep Florida free, people. There you go. There you go. And John Cardillo's jumping in. There you go, my man. Little bit different than cable news over here. It is. A little bit different. A little bit different. All right. All right.
Thanks, man.
Oh, there's your pen. You can have your pen too. All right. John Cardillo's joining me. John, you've been on my show a million times.
Yeah.
Are you? What's happening? Something good? 15. They're just showing the 15 points again.
Did I tell you 15?
I told DeSantis.
You told DeSantis. I've been saying 15 all day.
I mean, unbelievable. And that thing could still. The thing is, that can still widen because
That can
it's the
widen.
Republicans who are voting today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is a great day for America.
This can be a 17 to 20 point win.
John, we got people trying to bust in on us right here. You're sort of my, I would say, my Floridian political insider. What is, and you're also originally a New Yorker.
New York. We've been here about 19 years.
Okay,
Almost
so
19.
You get here about 19 years ago. This place has basically become your dream. What's going on?
It's us. We want it.
They're showing us on fire.
Yeah, we
right
want
now.
it big.
I mean, it's just great here, right?
It's incredible. You know, Florida is no longer a swing state. Florida is no longer an outlier. We are a top tier population state, and we're a red state now, Dave, a solid red state. And I think Florida is the model other Republicans have to follow.
Yeah. What else do you think is going to happen tonight? I mean, everybody's kind of...
You know, I have high hopes for Arizona. I think we have some great candidates in Arizona. I think we're going to do. We won in Ohio. Ohio was called.
Ohio over?
Yeah, I was just told. I was called for Vance.
all right, I didn't even see it yet.
One of the biggest takeaways for me in Florida, Ron DeSantis, last I spoke to his team, won Miami-Dade County by 8 points. Decades since the Republicans won Miami-Dade County. I think we're in a very good night across the United States. I have high hopes for Adam Black Salt in Nevada, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see 53, 54 in the Senate.
What do we have to do with the people who got? Oh, they're chanting USA now. We're at a WWE
I'm going to
rally,
stop them,
too.
USA.
Now I'm just going to body slam. Yeah, we'll end this thing. What do you think? We've talked about this a little bit privately, usually over some drinks.
Yeah.
But what do you think we have to do about all of the people that have gotten everything wrong? Not just the ones who got everything wrong, but who actively were trampling our freedom.
Well, you know,
the Atlantic did the big amnesty article.
Yeah. I hope tonight is the beginning of the demise of traditional pollsters. And I got to tell you something. What really pissed me off was GOP chairwoman Ronna McDaniel saying, "Oh, now Republicans are going to win big. They've got to make peace. They've got to work with Democrats." Hell no.
Not
We've
yet.
got to crush them. Make them feel pain. There will be no amnesty. No amnesty. They need to be held to account. I want to see people, Dave, I want to see them prosecuted for what they did to Americans, knowing they were pushing products, profiteering, and doing it on junk data. And that's not hyperbole. That's not sensational. Lives were destroyed. People died alone. Weren't allowed to go to funerals. I think people need to be held to account. Investigations need to happen in Congress. People need to be prosecuted. Don't walk them out of their houses like they do to the right.
Yeah, there's Ben Domenech.
That's us.
I think he's a Rubin Report guest too, and we're over there somewhere. This is just so exciting.
Yeah, I'm
What's going on?
fired up. Look, I don't want just weaponization of our side. I want revenge. I want retribution and revenge.
As I said, people, this is not what you're getting on traditional cable news tonight. So
No.
let me ask about the one other place since
Yeah.
we both come from New York. I mean, do you think Zeldin has a chance? I really believe it. I really.
I would not wake up tomorrow morning. I hope so. I like Lee. I know he's a great guy. Lee's a great guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he did win. He's got the ability to win by 1 to 1.5. It'll be slim, but he can do it. He can do it. He's got support and he's got an infrastructure.
John, you got to Florida. You settled the land before me. I appreciate it.
You're a wired earth, Dave.
Enjoy the rest of the night, my man. All right, guys, good things are happening. I mean, how awesome. 15 points. I think DeSantis owes me a drink. I said 15 points. He laughed in my face. We shall see. All right, I think we've got a couple other people that may join us at different points. The governor, do we know when the governor is going to be talking yet? We don't know exactly when the governor is going to jump in, but what we're going to try to do, I think we're going to keep the live stream going until the governor jumps on. When he jumps on, I'm just going to get out of the way. All of the mainstream media is right behind us over there, so they're going to give you the traditional view, obviously, of the governor's speech. We thought it would be fun since we did this all on the fly and we left the studio and we just camped out here, basically, and we're right in the midst of this thing. As I said, we got the bar 2 feet away from us. We thought it would be fun when the governor comes out. I'm going to get right out of the way. We're going to just shift the camera and zoom in. We'll give you a different view than anyone is going to have, because they obviously all have the mainstream networks and all that have their cameras directly on the stage. So we'll see who comes out. I think Byron, who is just here, Congressman Byron Donalds, I think he's going to speak before the governor. There may be 1 or 2 other people. Let's see. I got a tweet here from Mike Cernovich. Mike's been on the show a couple of times. I used to get in a lot of trouble for having Mike Cernovich on, and he's become actually quite an astute political pundit, I think. He said, I'm reading these just on the fly. He says, red wave doesn't even begin to describe what's happening. The turnout doesn't even seem possible. Total destruction occurring. I don't even see how they can get away with cheating at this point. Let me talk about this cheating situation for a second, because everyone, regardless of what side you're on, if you're a Republican, you kind of felt like Trump got screwed one way or another, depending on how deep you went into that, right? If you're a Democrat right now, for the last week, Hillary Clinton and MSNBC and The View has been telling you that the Republicans are about to cheat. There's a very noxious and I would say pernicious idea in the system that no one's going to trust the system. It's very dangerous. And it's why I was so proud, again, to vote today in such a clear, concise way here in Florida. A piece of paper, a pen, a private booth, an envelope, walking that over to another person at the actual receptacle where I then put it in. It was all done and it was clean and legit. And there simply was going to be no doubt that things were going to be done on the up and up here in Florida. And that's why I think this election, as I said to Carol, it's about sanity and it's about competence. I would love, actually, if after this massive destruction, which I've been calling for a long time, right? I have. The Democrat Party needed and needs. I still don't want to get ahead of myself. It still needs to be destroyed. Let's see what happens for the rest of the night. It's looking good right now, and Cernovich's tweet notwithstanding. But let's see. That's a Florida race house. Of course, Luna, the Republican, winning. Florida is just going to be as red can be. I mean, DeSantis, man, if you just do it right. Oh, Fox is showing the crowd right here. Oh, that's Leah, Republican here in Florida. So things obviously are very good here. Let's see, Texas governor right now. Texas governor with only 15% reporting, so this is very, very early stuff, has Beto at 15% and Abbott at 42%. It's probably not even worth talking about at that point. Let's see, do we have anything else here? We're going to have Rob Smith joining us in just a second. I think Lisa Booth is going to be here. That's the Marco Rubio win at 14 points right now. These are not normal margins. Excuse me. These are not normal margins, guys. Like, you know the way things have been over the last couple of years. We get elections 2, 3, 4 points. 4 is often considered a big win. 14 points. Yeah, I mean these margins, these are spectacular margins. And again, blueprint for the United States. Don't worry. Don't worry what just happened there. They were booing Joe Biden. They were booing Joe Biden. Nothing bad happened here. All right, are we going to grab, I think we got Lisa and we got some other people on the way in just a moment. Okay, let's see what else. I'm being told Florida has turned blood red. Not just red, but actual blood red. So as I said, when the governor gets out here, I'm going to get out of the way. And then our hope, of course, is that we're going to get the governor. He's losing his voice. If you heard the governor the last couple of days, these guys, even though we knew what was going to happen here in Florida. We have that luxury because things have been so good and so strong. But he and Casey, the first lady, they just campaigned their butts off. They were all over the state for the last 2 weeks. And really, if you think about it, if you go from Hurricane Ian, which was only a month ago, and that they were out there every single day in the midst of a campaign, right? And basically had to stop campaigning, end that, and then just roll right into everything that's going on right now the last couple weeks and see these results. It's pretty great. Let's see. Right now, they're showing the Warnock Herschel Walker situation in Georgia. It's very low returns right now. It looks like Warnock's up by about 10, but a little too early. Let's see. I've got a little bit more info for you. There's no voting data yet for Arizona Senate and Pennsylvania Senate, as well as Nevada Senate. The Senate, the sites are all saying data will come out at 10 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see how long we go for tonight. I hope this is my water. I think this is my water. And I think I dropped my phone down there somewhere. A lot going on, people. Anyway, on a personal note, I have to say how refreshing it is to be in a place that is congruent with my beliefs. I moved here so that this could happen, so that maybe I could be a little piece of this, so that the ideas that were working in Florida, that I was watching from 3,000 miles away in California, watching all the wrong ideas, and I was watching all the right ones here, and I thought, I want to be part of that. And the fact that now I'm sitting here on an incredible night like this, that I've been welcomed into the fold, into what's going on here in the right way in Florida is just so freaking awesome. It really, it's a complete validation of my life. Not to make it about me on this night, because it's not. It's about America. And I got a lot of people waving at me and yelling at me from the side. All nice things, by the way. Let's see what else is going on here. New Hampshire governor race. The Republican Chris Sununo's at 50%. Democrat Tom Sherman 48%. They're showing the Florida results now. It looks like 57% DeSantis, 41 for Chris, 16 points. We're at 16 points. The governor's going to owe me a steak dinner. That's what I'm going to ask. But let's see. Okay, so New Hampshire's looking good. Georgia governor, this is an interesting one. 29% reporting. So again, this is very early stuff. We just lost it. I got it back. It's Abrams at 52% and Kemp at 47%. It's interesting about Stacey Abrams because she was an election denier who ran for governor last time, obviously did not accept the results, but nobody really called her out in the mainstream, and as you know, I always say that is because of what? Democrat privilege, that you can lie and cheat and get everything wrong and destroy things, but you fail your way up. But it's sort of interesting because in the last couple of weeks, the media really shifted off the Georgia gubernatorial race, which kind of makes you think that it is not going to go well for the Democrats. But credit where credit's due, with about 30% in, Abrams does have a little bit of a lead over there. Let's see what else is going on over here. Well, we'll get some more numbers for you in a little bit. But really, guys, what I think is happening, Daphne, my phone is down there somewhere. Don't mind her. Different live stream. There you go. Thank you. what really is happening here, look, it's the sanity thing I talked about, it's the competency thing. But 6, 7 years ago, guys, you could go back into some of the videos that I was doing as a disaffected liberal, as a lifelong Democrat, as a 2-time Obama voter, and saying, Democrats, there's something wrong here. This woke thing is out of control. We are not acting liberally. You guys know the drill on all of that. And I just kept saying it over and over. And the New York Times said I'm head of the alt-right, and all the nonsense about Jordan Peterson and the protesters and everything else. And the left just kept going. The good Democrats, and there were good Democrats. Some of you watching this may consider yourself old school Democrats, but your party doesn't exist anymore. And out of the ashes, maybe something good will come. But hopefully, if this evening continues the way that it is looking right now, and again, you don't want to do any of this too early. You don't, right? Like, I'm excited clearly because of what's going on here in Florida, and I'm in a room of freedom-loving people that are happy tonight, no matter what happens with everything else. But if this continues the way it looks like it's going to continue, then the ex-liberals or the disgruntled liberals, the libertarians who just want government out of the way, the conservatives who may have different religious beliefs, all of these things, all of these groups could come together and say, well, what does unite us? What is it that we all just voted for? What did we all vote against? What did we all leave from the blue states? Why did we come to the red states? And the common denominator is freedom, guys. It is freedom that people want to live free. It is the most fundamentally human attribute that there is. That you watching this right now want to live your life in a certain way, and to organize a society, we need something called a government. But our founders did this thing in such a beautiful way with our Constitution, to limit the power of government, to give you a Bill of Rights to enshrine these incredible protections. And then, unfortunately, in the course of 250 years, the government kept coming. We stopped realizing what makes us free people, what makes America so special. We started becoming like the rest of the world. We started becoming like the countries that our ancestors fled from to come here. But maybe we're about to get it back. Maybe we're about to get it back, and we will look back. Imagine, guys, and I really mean this, and I think about this often. Running a DeSantis ad right now. I think about this often as a new father of 2 beautiful young boys. It's like, what if I can say to my kids, in 10 years, in 15 years from now, right? We start talking politics, and they ask me, what was that thing? What was the squad? What was woke? And I just tell them about this little blip, this aberration, this ridiculous time that was fueled by algorithms, and this thing, and we didn't know what we were doing, and we almost gave it all away, but we fought for it, we got it back, and then we gave that great promise to the next generation. I think we could do it. I think it starts right here. Call me crazy. All right, so they're going to start the speakers on stage soon. So depending on who goes on, I may continue for a little bit or get out of the way. I promise you I will get out of the way when Governor DeSantis gets back up there. And then we're gonna see. I mean, the guy has been talking forever, so I'm not gonna beg the guys. I'm to get him on for tonight. We'll see if we can do it. If not, I'm sure we can do it in the next couple weeks or whatever it might be. Let's see. Wait, this is not a joke? This is not a joke? I'm being told what I'm about to read to you is not a joke, and he's telling me it's not a joke. Joe Biden has turned off the TV in the West Wing, according to a White House staffer. Well, what he was watching, we don't know. Geez, wow. Well, that really does mean that things are looking good. Republican Governor Chris Sununu in New Hampshire has won re-election, so that is good. So at the moment, as far as I can tell, nothing has gone horrifically awry yet. Right? We haven't seen one of the major states that we thought might flip. We haven't seen any of them fall. I hope you guys can hear me, by the way. It's getting louder and louder here every second. And I can tell if DeSantis doesn't have a voice, I ain't going to have much. by the end of this. But the speakers are going to speak soon. We'll see who goes up there. It's obviously a massive celebration here. Just everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere I'm looking. It's just smiling people everywhere. It's like, this is good. This is good. I can't imagine what's going on in Charlie Crist's campaign headquarters. Like, was it his bedroom? Like, what's going on over there? Nothing good in Charlie Crist's campaign headquarters. But so far, this is really shaping up to be a nice night. Phoenix, do we have anything out of New York? Is there anything coming out of New York yet? No, we're going to look at the iPad. They gave me this iPad. They gave me the iPad for a reason here. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything from New York on here just yet. Oh, there's no data from New York yet. All right, so it is. It's about 8:30. So all right, we're just rolling into. So man, think about how early Florida could report, right? Because the margins were so huge. 16 points for DeSantis is absolutely incredible. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? The margins were so huge that they could report early. But we'll see what happens in New York. Oh, they're supposed to come in at 9 o'clock Eastern. I think the governor will be speaking at that point. But obviously, as I said, I'm sure you guys, half of you are watching with one of these and the television and all that. Maybe that's part of our modern problem these days. I think perhaps it is. Okay. Are we gonna snag Lisa or anyone else, or we're gonna wait for the governor? Okay. We're waiting for the program to start here, so we're going to hold off on the guests for now. I'm down to take a couple of questions. If people want to throw some questions in, we can do that as well. Again, guys, we're doing this all on the fly. We had a very orderly program planned for you, but we just felt that this was the better way to do it. And yeah, the signs are coming in. People are psyched, and you know, there's also some other interesting stuff, some subtext to what's going on here in Florida. Obviously, President Trump gave a big rally here in Miami 2 days ago. He clearly endorsed Marco Rubio. He endorsed Governor DeSantis. He did vote for Governor DeSantis, and there's video of him saying that today. You know, there is this potential, it's I think mostly a media creation at the moment, this tension between DeSantis and Trump, but it's like, who knows what it really is and what they're doing on the DL. I also, again, I've said this a million times, I have no idea what DeSantis wants to do in the long term. But I do know that he loves this state. But the Republicans right now, there's a bright crop there. There really is a feeling like, man, there's some good people here, regardless whether, if we're looking at 2024, whether it was Trump, and there's obvious great reasons for that, and there's some messy reasons that you wouldn't want it to happen. Obviously, there's DeSantis. There's Mayor Suarez here in Miami, who I think has a great opportunity for a much bigger stage. You've got Nikki Haley. You've got maybe a Marco Rubio or a Ted Cruz. It's just a better crop than you have on the Democrat side. But what I really think will be interesting, the takeaway from tonight, again, assuming things kind of continue to shake out the way we're looking at them, is what are the Democrats going to do? If Joe Biden has shut the TV off, and I know his bedtime isn't, well, technically his bedtime is 8:30, so he shut the TV off just a little bit early tonight. But if there is this massive red wave, what are the Democrats going to do? They got to blame somebody. And who is that? Of course it's going to be Joe Biden. And you're going to watch them jump off the ship real quick. Wow. So they're showing the Florida map right now. I don't know if you can see that. Wow, really incredible. I mean, basically the entire map of Florida is red right now. I don't think those are final results. Obviously, we're not at the end of the night yet. But basically, the entire map of Florida is red. I saw two blue blips. What I'm seeing there, Orlando, you can see that sort of upper middle of the state. And then the Miami-Dade area, which is southeast Florida. But the numbers are still coming in there, and they're looking really good for an area that DeSantis lost by 20 points last time. Last we heard, he was up by 8 points. So super interesting things are happening here. Let's see, another good piece out of Florida. Corey Mills, Republicans, going to take Stephanie Murphy's old seat. She was a Democrat in Florida's 7th congressional district. And this is also interesting. Republicans have not only defeated Charlie Crist, obviously, but also flipped his former congressional seat from blue to red. All right, so good things are happening. Let's see, what do we have here? So am I understanding this one correctly? Mayra Flores is down at the moment. What's that?
She's down in early voting.
Okay, got it. So Mayra Flores, this is the young Latina woman in the border town. That's Texas's 34th district. This is a district that was Democrat run for 100 years, okay? She is now in early voting. She's down a little bit, but there's just something interesting going on here, right? Everyone can kind of feel it. Mayra Flores, she wins this special election, and then what happens? The New York Times is basically calling her the face of Latina white supremacy, the same kind of stuff that they did to Larry Elder. And that also is what so much of this election is about. That the mainstream media, if you're watching this mainstream media, people, it's like no more carrying water for the Democrats. Maybe you're also realizing, if this red wave continues, that the gravy train is over. I get why you like Democrats. You like Democrats because they're the elite. You like Democrats because they like high taxes. That keeps the power structure intact. You like Democrats because, generally speaking, Democrats used to be more liberal. Somehow that meant more fun or something like that, or the connection to Hollywood and music and all that. But it's all changing. It's all changing. Actually, all the fun, all the joy, all the good music, all of the creativity, it's not that it's coming out of conservatives, it's just that it's coming out of non-woke people. The liberals did not defend liberalism, and the fox got in the hen house, and the hens are pretty bloody red at the moment. All right, Fox is going to have another update in about a minute. The room is filling up, as you can see. I can't quite tell how many people you can see behind me, but there's just a massive amount of people here. It's really fantastic. We're going to take a couple of questions from the Rubin Report community Q&A. Again, the program here will start any minute, and then I'm gonna jump out of the way and we'll go from there. Let's see. Margot says, "Am I alive or am I dreaming?" Margot, I think you're alive, or we're all in your dream right now, Margot. And it's even weirder because I'm talking to you. So if this is your dream, very bizarre. But something good is happening right now. But again, let's not forget, guys, 2020 election, when that thing was rolling into 11 p.m. Eastern, we were all feeling very good about what was happening at the presidential level, right? Trump was leading in all those places. So you don't want to get too ahead. Let's see what Fox is reporting right now. Incumbent in Arkansas, Republican. We knew that was going to happen. So Arkansas will remain red. That was obviously not a surprise. So we'll find out more, hopefully, on that Texas 34th district with Mayra Flores. Oh, all right. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders, former White House press secretary, a little better than Jen Psaki and Karine Jean-Pierre. She has won. She is now the governor of Arkansas. That is absolutely fantastic. I've met her a few times. She's a lovely, lovely lady. We'll get her on the show. We tried to do it a few times. Couldn't do it because of some scheduling things. But that's a good sign for Arkansas. And yeah, a couple other things happening. I'm doing a lot of talking. All right, you can throw me a few more questions, and then if the program doesn't start, we'll let people get out of the way. Wow, this is incredible. So Marco Rubio, senator obviously, and Governor Ron DeSantis are currently on pace to win Miami-Dade by double digits. And if you want a little context for that, what is happening here in the state of Florida? Hillary Clinton won Miami-Dade in 2016. Remember that election? She won it by 30 points. That is such a flip, it's almost impossible to understand the level of the flip. If it's double digits right now, let's just say it's 10, right? We'll go with the lowest possible double digit. It's 10 for Rubio and DeSantis after Hillary won Miami-Dade, and I'm part of Miami-Dade, and all my employees are part of Miami-Dade. There is something really, really beautiful happening here in Florida. Okay. I'm being told that a lot of community members are asking about Arizona. It sounds like it's a little unclear. Connor's mom lives in Arizona. You want to get her on the phone, see what we can make happen here? We'll try to get Connor's mom to report live from Arizona. But again, we're being told the only official results from Arizona aren't going to come in until 10 p.m. I think our stream will be done by then. Depends what happens with Governor DeSantis. So we'll see. Wow. Well, I'm just going to pause for a second and have a little water. Bear with me, guys, for 1 second. You know what can also happen after this? Again, if it continues to go well. And I just don't want to get ahead of myself. We don't know what's going to happen with Oz and Fetterman. We still don't have those Arizona results. Obviously, we don't have the Georgia results. Georgia's got a gubernatorial and a Senate campaign going. So we still got to wait. But right now, the feeling is good right now, right? And what else happens after this? So we get some sanity back. We get some functional governance back. And then what if we really do what the founders intended? Like, let's say the rest of the night's a disaster for what I would want, for what you would want. Let's say New York remains hardcore blue, Georgia goes blue, Arizona, like let's say it all goes the other direction. Well then what's the worst scenario? Worst case scenario is that federalism has to fight for itself, meaning that the states, which are supposed to be independent experiments of democracy, will have to do it, and they'll do it very differently, and Florida will just be very different than New York is, and Texas will be very different than California is. That's the way it's happening already. But that's also why, it's one of these weird things. I'm so excited to be here in Florida for this, because this is where it directly affects my life. But we shouldn't, in a functional society, if things were working the way they were intended to work, it wouldn't matter to you that much if you lived in Florida, whether Nevada was red or blue, right? It really wouldn't matter that much. There would be some level of it, but not that much. And we flipped everything. It's ironic, right? Why did the Pilgrims come to America? Why did the Boston Tea Party happen? Why did we fight to create this incredible free country? And it's all because of freedom. And it was because we wanted to escape a centralized government, right? We didn't want a king to rule over all of us, especially once we had started the new world. And yet we have this odd thing where we think the president is supposed to rule over all of us, and that's not really the way it's supposed to be. So if the states, if tonight, if everything else from this point after goes poorly, and I certainly hope that it does not, we'll just be operating the way we were supposed to operate, which is that the states will kind of do their own different things, and we will see different things. All right, I'm being told that the Georgia race right now is tightening. Herschel Walker's at with 45% reporting. Is that what I'm getting? Yeah. So with 40. Oh no, I'm okay. With 36% reporting. So it's still not that. It's still not that much. Warnock is leading Walker by about 8 points, but it's only 36%. It's only 36%. So basically, yeah. So basically, from everything I'm seeing here, there's been no disasters yet. So far, so good, guys. I'll throw in a couple comments from the locals community, and then if the governor doesn't get up here soon, I think we'll probably end up cutting the stream, and I'm going to get out there and party with these people. They also got a pretty sweet food spread. Republicans don't mess around. It's all good out there. Jesse says, do you think there will be rioting when Republicans win the House and the Senate? Well, Jesse, let's pace it. Let's see what happens. But look, I do honestly believe that using violence and occasionally releasing it when it feels necessary or prudent is one of the tools that the Democrats have. Why did we have all of that summer of peace, the riots all over these blue cities when Trump was president, and then Biden becomes president, and there's no more BLM, right? There's no more fighting over systemic racism. Antifa kind of disappears. It's like the Democrats use these people as foot soldiers. Is it coordinated, uncoordinated? It's a little hard to fully understand how they do it. But these are the same people. Maxine Waters, get in their faces. AOC, the point of protest is to make people uncomfortable. They've instigated so much of this, the shooting of Steve Scalise, all of this stuff. And one of the things we'll have to decide, again, as the states maybe go in their separate ways, is we're not going to want much out of them, meaning the blue states, but they're going to want a bunch out of us. Wait a minute, I think we made a mistake earlier. I think J.D. Vance has not won yet, correct? All right, so I think a mistake did get across before. Maybe it was I couldn't hear properly, but the Ohio race is very early on. So I think I did say that earlier, and I apologize. There's obviously a lot going on here at once. Let's see, EK says, this is a little out of what's happening specifically tonight. I want to know how Dave keeps up his schedule and still looks happy and rested all the time. Well, I can definitely tell you in the last 3 months since Justin and Luke, I am not as rested as I used to be. But fortunately, we do have a nice amount of help, and David's doing an incredible job. And, I love what I do. That really is the truth. How could I not love what I'm doing right now, right? Like, this is the coolest gig in the world. Like, I'm literally sitting here in the state that I love, talking about stuff that I love, and fighting for the things that I believe in, surrounded by people that I love, not only who work with me, but who are in this audience, and being part of something that I think is important. Like, that's the main thing that kind of gets me going. That really is the main thing, and I try to take that into all of the parts of my life that I can. And it's not to say that at times it isn't hard, or at times you're not going to believe this. Every now and again, someone online says something mean to me, but you just get past it. But I think the other things are I try to exercise every day, at least a half hour of cardio. I think that really helps. I try not to bring the telephone into the bedroom. I think that really helps. Try to eat right. Drink a decent amount of water. I've got good friends. I've got a good family. Yeah, things are good. Okay, so something has flipped a little bit here, but again, this is early with only 37%. Brian Kemp, obviously incumbent Republican, has the lead at 50%. Stacey Abrams at 49%. And again, that's one of the bizarre races because there was, the media loved Stacey Abrams, and then suddenly in the last 2 weeks they kind of got real quiet about her. So who knows what's going to happen there? I see we're testing some cameras on the fly. That could be interesting. We might be able to get a camera to move within the room. The Herschel Walker-Warnock race is also tightening. About 6 points separate them, but again, it's very, very early in. People are screaming. They're very happy here. Okay, and the Ohio race is just way too early. All right, if you want to throw me a couple more questions, and then I think we don't know what time DeSantis is going to go. So there's obviously, guys, I know you love me and I appreciate it, and I love you too. There's so many places that you can get full coverage of all of this. So my hope was that we could go until DeSantis comes out. But since they haven't even started the program, I suspect we're probably not going to do that. I might jump on and do some live streaming from my phone. I'll certainly be in the locals community talking to you guys. Try to do a live chat a little bit later and see what else is going on. Let's see. So I'll just do. We'll go for about 5 more minutes, and if we don't have word on DeSantis, I think we'll wrap up. All's good. Macy says, "Is David with you tonight?" No, the 2 children did not want to come to the big election event and be in the car for 4.5 hours from Miami to Tampa. So David is home with both babies. I have no doubt that I have 7,000 text messages with updates about poops and peeing and crying, and maybe some updates about the kids too. She liked that one. All right, yeah, we're getting these early results in Ohio, so I don't want to get too lost in all of that. Tim says, "What are you drinking tonight?" I have not drank anything yet tonight, but there's a full bar about 2 feet that way. There's bars throughout, and it really is a celebration here. And what was nice is it was a celebration from the second we got to the hotel, which is a couple blocks away. Like, everyone in the hotel lobby, you could feel it. People were just like, tonight's going to go well, at least here in the free state of Florida. And how cool to just like plant our flag and be like, we're going to do it right here. And as I said, even if it doesn't even though things are seemingly tracking well throughout the country, even if the night turns or we don't get results or whatever, like you have to find those blips of goodness. And if you're watching this right now and you live in, let's say you live in Cali, and I know a lot of you, especially because I talk to you guys in the locals community, I know a ton of you have either left California or thinking of leaving to California. It's like by the end of tonight, as Newsom wins again, and LA probably sticks with this Democrat mayor and all the stuff, it's like you have a chance to pick up and go. And that's a beautiful thing. You can't do that in most countries in the world because they have more centralized governments than we have here in the United States. And that's also why the Democrats hate our system, and they're always trying to, we want to add Supreme Court justices. We want to make DC a state. It's not because they want more involvement in the system. It's not because they want more choice and more freedom. It's because they want less choice. They want more calcification of the power structure over you. But there are blips. There are red, beautiful blips, and we're in one here in Florida. All right, you got any other major updates for me? Otherwise, I think we got something. We got something out of Michigan. Michigan with, all right, it's not even worth reporting. Michigan with 5% reporting has Whitmer with a significant lead, 58-40, but that 5% reporting is literally nothing, so let's not worry about that. And there is no election data for the LA mayoral race either. Obviously, West Coast is 3 hours earlier, so it's only, it's only about 5:44 on the West Coast right now. So, you know what, guys? I think we're gonna do this. I think we're gonna. Governor speaking in 10. The governor is speaking in 10 minutes. That means, Dave, you're gonna talk for 10 more minutes. All right. We're gonna keep it going because I do think it'll be kind of cool if we can give you guys the live stream from this angle. It'll be totally different than anything else that you'll see on network news. We're the only outfit here that's not, the official stuff, right? Like what's going on? So Fox is giving a quick update. Obviously, Republicans having a nice night in the Congress. Republicans. I actually couldn't see that last part, but it sounded like things are going pretty well. Isn't it fun, I suppose, to be watching something that's a little bit looser and a little bit sane and a little bit more real than whatever the robots on CNN and MSNBC are doing with their charts, right? The white people live here and white working class people are here and black people are over here and blah, 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 blah. And it's all just like, it's so boring and gross and they get everything wrong and they're so lost in the numbers. It's why on the show I try to talk about ideas more than I talk about numbers, because I think ideas are what matter. Ideas are what over time turn states red, and the wrong ideas, I suppose, turn states blue. Are we getting some other numbers? I had an iPad. I lost my iPad. Oh, he's got my iPad, okay. Can you guys even hear me? At this point, I'm not even totally sure if people can hear me. You want to say hi to the people? Why don't you wait for a second? That's Connor's hand, everybody. You guys don't get to see that normally during the show because he's sitting behind the camera. He's a little camera shy. We'll see if Phoenix maybe wants to wave too. We got people taking a picture of the camera right now. Sir, you're using your flash. He's using his flash. All right, so it sounds like Governor DeSantis is going to come out in about 8 minutes. So if you can bear with me for 8 more minutes off the cuff, on the fly. Can we get a couple? We'll get a couple more questions. Here, let me get that iPad. All right, I'm getting some updates here. Don't worry, guys. Getting some updates. Things are being copied and pasted as we go right now. By the way, although we are in Tampa, which is about a 4.5-hour drive, we are going to do a show tomorrow. So we're going to get up crack of dawn tomorrow. I don't know that we can make it for the 11 a.m. show. That might be pushing it. But we will be doing a live show tomorrow. Maybe we'll make it a happy hour show, and hopefully there'll be plenty to celebrate. I also sense that tonight's going to be a bit of a late night. There will be plenty to celebrate, and as I said, the bar is 2 feet over there, and I'm being told that they do have tequila. Let's see, Ryan in the locals community says J.D. Vance is encroaching on Tim Ryan Do you think he's going to win tonight? I would be surprised if he does not. Look, this is one of those things where, how many times did I say on the show in the last 2 weeks, we all live in our own bubble, and I am just like you, right? I am a person just like you are. We all cater our news to ourselves. I do my best to get a plurality of voices and opinions and all of those things. I was trying to find people that really were supporting Tim Ryan to really get an understanding, because it's clear to me why you would vote for J.D. Vance if you're in Ohio and you're upset about the fentanyl and you're upset about what's going on with the border and people then moving all the way up there and you're upset about what's happening to the economy there. Like, it all makes sense. I don't know what the real argument for Tim Ryan is, but it sounds like it's going to be a close race. Oh, it looks like Marco Rubio is giving his acceptance speech right now. That is somewhere else here in the free state of Florida. And I have to say, you know, I've gotten to know Senator Rubio a little bit. We've hung out a little bit. I've had him on the show a couple of times. You know, he's really a nice guy. He's a decent guy. I'll tell you this. I don't even know that he would fully want this to be said, but I was at a fundraiser a couple of weeks ago where there were a whole bunch of Republicans there, big-time Republicans. Dr. Oz was there, and Adam Laxalt was there, and J.D. Vance was there, and Blake Masters was there, and Senator Rubio. Big, major money people are there. And they were all there to give a talk and schmooze and raise funds and everything. And as the night began, Senator Rubio got up first. He said, I hope you guys don't mind if I just speak quickly and get going, but my son's football game is tonight. And he said, you know, my son isn't the greatest, but he's playing tonight, and I really want to be there for that because he doesn't play all the time. So he said, I hope you'll vote red, I hope you'll support me, and I hope you don't take offense that I'm going to get going. And he just left. And I thought it was actually really like nice and human and decent. And I don't know if he made any money that night. I don't know if his campaign people weren't thrilled. But he's been through the ringer, right? The guy's run for president. Trump banged him up pretty badly when he did that. You may remember that. But Trump's endorsing him now, and he won by a landslide here in Florida tonight. And Ron DeSantis is now up by 19 points. He owes me, I am getting a tomahawk from Governor DeSantis. I wish we had it on video. I'm telling you, I swear to God, guys, I said to Governor DeSantis on June 2nd, I said, you are going to win this state by 15 points. He laughed. Like, you know when he does that really loud laugh? He said, no, 6 or 7. It looks like 19 points. And you know what? It could get wider because that's widening right now. We were at about 14, 15. It's widening because obviously Republicans like to vote in person. We like the system. We want to strengthen the system. So now that the mail-in ballots are getting out of the way, the early voting's getting out of the way, or the mail-in ballots, whatever, but the early voting, Republicans like day of voting. So just absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Rennie says, oh, someone's going.
Congressman Byron Donalds.
All right, so Congressman Byron Donalds is going to talk. Why don't we try to get me out of the way for a moment? All right, here's what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna get out of the way so you can hear Congressman Byron Donalds. I think he may be bringing the governor on. If the audio is absolutely terrible, I may just come back for a second, then we'll cut the feed again. We're doing this on the fly. We just felt like trying something a little bit different. I thank you guys for bearing with us, but let the congressman take it away. And one way or another, I think I'll be back in some form or another throughout the evening. Thanks for watching, everybody. God bless America. God bless the free state of Florida. And enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody.
I didn't even get to the speech. All I said was so cool. You know, I've been through a lot of states the last 2 years. I've been thrilled in Arizona, in Nevada, in Massachusetts, in Illinois, in North Carolina, in Georgia, in Texas. That a red wave was coming to the United States of America. And that red wave has started right here in the great state of Florida.
Dave,
We have
we're obsessed
4
with
new
you.
Republican members going to the House of Representatives tonight. We have our new colleague and your former Secretary of State, Laura Lee, a veteran of our military in Corey Mills, a former servant of our great state in Tallahassee, Aaron Bean, the guy who 4 years ago was newly elected Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He then became America's Governor Ron DeSantis. And he is now being crowned by me. This is all on the top of my head, y'all. He's now being crowned by me as the man who knows how to send Charlie Crist into permanent retirement. None of this could have been possible without all of you. You are the ones who have knocked on the doors. You are the ones who made the calls. You are the ones who texted your friends. You are the ones, especially some of y'all down front. You're the ones who wrote the checks. We know who you are. We see you. We thank you. But more than that, you have told the rest of the country we are sick and tired of Democrat leadership, and in Florida, we don't want to see it anymore. You told them loud and clear they can keep their lockdowns in New York. You told them loud and clear they can keep kids out of classroom in Chicago. But when you come across I-75 or I-95, if you land in Miami International or in Jacksonville International, you are now in the land of the free, which is the great state of Florida. Tonight I have also a special joy, because in a couple days we have to go back to Washington, D.C., and we get to look at the rostrum in the House of Representatives, and we get to tell Nancy Pelosi, you are now fired by the American people. Chuck Schumer, forget Chuck Schumer, but nobody listens to him anyway. But we're well on our way to take it back to the United States Senate. But man, Florida, I gotta tell you, the one thing I'm really happy about tonight is I didn't have to wait for Miami-Dade to report it. I mean, the people in Miami-Dade said, Ron DeSantis kept our businesses open and he's to be rewarded. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. And I see some children running around the room tonight. They've been getting all kind of snacks and everything. But I'm going to tell you right now, in a couple of moments, now trust me, some very, very few moments. Some people by the bar. In a few moments, you are going to do the thing that the rest of America has been waiting to hear. You are going to cheer for the newly re-elected Democrat beating, freedom standing for America's Governor, Ron DeSantis. God bless you, Florida. God bless America.
Try to get the answer. Let me take this off. Let me see what county this is. This is Davie County. All right, no votes are in. But what happened 2 years ago at the presidential level? Well, Trump was a big winner in that county. Picked up about 14,000 votes total raw. Here we are, 11,005. We'll do the math for me. So that's out there. Let me come back out here in moments. And let me do this. Oh, shoot, it did not work. Here, guys, let me reload it for you. While you're reloading,
Well, there's one thing that's pretty interesting about North Carolina. When Bill and I had an opportunity to talk to Ted Bud, when he was in town, so he really comes across as a farmer. And he's kind of an understated guy, and his ads were apparently not that exciting. And Beasley is which is a well-respected judge in North Carolina. One thing that's really happened in these cities, though, is the amount of people who have moved into Raleigh and Charlotte and that whole area there that has changed that population a lot. We were talking about how many people left New England or New York for Florida, and how that might change some things there. North Carolina, might not happen this time around, but those big counties that Kellyanne mentioned in those urban areas are ones to watch in North Carolina.
It's not only rural votes on it, just remember again, this is blue wave, red wave, blue mirage, red mirage. The votes that you're seeing here are predominantly, virtually all of the early vote is going to be the mail-in ballots, because they start processing when you come in, they announce them early. We've seen this before. Tom Tillis is behind in his races, won by a small number, several tens of thousands of votes, because the late vote to come in is the vote that's being cast in the election.
Just to review, Florida is a hold. Ohio, we're watching very closely. That's a Republican defense. Where Pennsylvania, also a Republican seat they're trying to hold on to, as is North Carolina.
Yeah, and I'm going to have now for you the political comment of the week.
Okay.
Maybe a long time. Somebody's saying that what MSNBC is the GOP's dominance in Florida is all about gerrymandering.
That's a story they will tell themselves.
Incidentally, I'm from North Carolina just a few minutes ago, I believe it was 53,000, it's on the other 32,000. So, that's election day votes are getting reported here in this.
It's a race that we didn't give a lot of attention to. We did not give a lot of attention to.
And some of the committees and secret acts.
Yeah, except on the Republican side, they did. I mean, again, they said we didn't check on American Crossroad, but I have fun, put like 30 seconds.
Okay, stand by.
This is over.
It is 9 o'clock in the East, and polls are just closed in 15 more states. We're going to begin here in battleground state of Arizona, where Democrat Senator Mark Kelly and Republican venture capitalist Blake Masters are in a very tight race.
Over in Wisconsin, incumbent Republican Senator Ron Johnson, Democrat Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, also locked in a very close race in Wisconsin.
In Colorado, also too early to call here, but incumbent Democratic Senator Michael Bennett leads at this point. Republicans believe that Joe O'Dea, who is a local business owner, an independent type Republican, has a good chance to take that seat for us.
We can project that in Iowa, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley has a solid lead in his Senate race. If Grassley wins re-election, he will become the longest-serving sitting senator.
In New York, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will win his fifth term in office.
Kansas Republican Majority Senator Jerry Moran will win his third term in office.
North Dakota, we can project that Republican Senator John Hoeven has the lead, but we do not have enough data yet to make that call.
And Republican Senator John Finn has won re-election in South Dakota. As we get into balance and power in the Senate, we're taking down here Democrats with 39, Republicans with 33. We have a majority 51. Republicans again holding those seats in Florida. They're looking at Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, but they're looking to pick up seats in a number of places throughout the country.
We're going to see those numbers fill in, and we're going to see what just that sits there for a really long time in the middle of the Senate. So let's take a look at this. In New York, this has become a really closely watched race because of a crime issue. In New York, the incumbent, Kathy Hochul, has a lead at this point against Lee Zeldin. There was a time not too long ago where everyone was getting even close, but he has really been running for more money. So we will see how this all goes, but that's where it stands at this point.
In Arizona, we're going to profile contest is soon early call. There's between Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs and Republican Kelly Lake.
So in Michigan, where Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer has a slight lead, that race is moving on.
And in Wisconsin, the race between Governor Tony Evers and his opponent Tim Michels, the Republican too early to call there. Just like in the Senate, another very tight race.
Texas, our decision desk believes that Republican Governor Greg Abbott has a lead, but that is also too early to call.
In Kansas, Republican Senator Derek Schmidt and Democratic Governor Laura Kelly all locked in a very tight race. Democrats have a lot of hopes about Kansas.
In Minnesota, the governor's race, Democratic incumbent Tim Walz has a lead against his Republican challenger, Scott Jensen.
And in New Mexico, not updated yet to call this race. This is a showdown between Democratic incumbent Michelle Lujan Grisham and Republican candidate Ron Shea.
And to the Rocky Mountains, and in Colorado, incumbent Governor Jared Polis will defeat GOP candidate Heidi Lennon.
In South Dakota, not an update, we'll have to project the winner of the governor's race between incumbent Chrissy Noel and Democratic challenger Jamie Smith, but Noel does lead at this hour.
So Iowa, where we can project that Republican incumbent Kim Reynolds will return to governor election for a second term.
And in Nebraska, Republican Jim Pelham is in the lead, again, too early to call.
Finally, in Wyoming, where there are a lot of disgruntled people, apparently, according to our proxy voter analysis, we're projecting that Republican Governor Ron Gordon will cruise through to another term for AB's Democratic candidate, Travis Scott.
Together, we have made Florida the freest state in these United States. They will shut down businesses. You're damn right. I'm going to stand with these folks here. They have a right to make a living. I don't think government has a right to put these people out of work. The chance that I am going to back down from my commitment to students, back down from my commitment to parents' rights, the chances of that are zero.
Will they ever retire, Dr. Fauci?
If I had my druthers, you take them and you chuck them across the Potomac. It's a fake narrative. I just accuse you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts. I don't care what corporate media outlets say. I don't care what Hollywood says. I don't care what big corporations say. Here I stand. I'm not backing down. We are going to carry this torch of freedom onward because our mission is very simple. We are keeping the state of Florida free. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much. Over these past 4 years, we've seen major challenges for the people of our state, for the citizens of the United States, and above all, for the cause of freedom. We saw freedom in our very way of life, and so many other jurisdictions in this country wither on the vine. Florida held the line. We chose facts over fear. We chose education over indoctrination. We chose law and order over rioting and disorder. Florida was a refuge of sanity when the world went mad. We stood as a citadel of freedom for people across this country and indeed across the world. We faced attacks. We took the hit. We weathered the storms. But we stood our ground. We did not back down. We had the conviction to guide us, and we had the courage to lead. We made promises. We made promises to the people of Florida, and we have delivered on those promises. So today, after 4 years, the people have delivered their verdict. Freedom is here to stay. Thanks to the overwhelming support of the people of Florida, we not only won election, we have rewritten the political map. Thank you for honoring us with a win for the ages. I want to thank all of our campaign staff, from campaign manager Janera Peck down. This was the best run campaign in the history of Florida. I want to thank all of our wonderful volunteers who worked so hard to get out the vote. Your support means the world to Casey and I. God bless you and thank you. Now, it's a lot easier to run a good campaign when you got a great record to run on. And I would not have been
That in the
able
background, I'll post that for the Blaze right now. Here.
accomplishments that we saw unless I had outstanding personnel working in the executive office of the governor, as well as heading state agencies. These folks worked hard to implement our agenda. They believed in our agenda, and the results have been historic. Thank you for your support and work. Thank you to Miami-Dade County. Thank you to Palm Beach County. Now, we're still tallying the votes, but it's clearly apparent that this election, we will have garnered a significant number of votes from people who may not have voted for me 4 years ago. And I just want to let you know, I am honored to have earned your trust and your support over the next 4 years. And most important of all, thank you to the greatest First Lady in all 50 cities. For being a great wife, giving unwavering support, being a tremendous mother to our 3 young children, and serving as an example for women throughout this state, especially going through the battle of cancer. She is remarkable. Now, today,
I think maybe I'm on with the Blaze, guys.
now today is the culmination of the 2022 fall elections.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little tricky to hear you guys, but I'm gonna do my best.
Years now, they've been voting with their feet, and the results of that behavior has been just as stark as our landslide victory today. States and cities governed by leftist politicians have seen crime skyrocket. They've seen their taxpayers abused. They've seen medical authoritarianism imposed, and they've seen American principles discarded. The woke agenda has caused millions of Americans to leave these jurisdictions for greener pastures. Now, this great exodus of Americans, for those folks, Florida, for so many of them, has served as the promised land. We have embraced freedom. We have maintained law and order. We have protected the rights of parents. We have respected our taxpayers, and we reject woke
Well, I can
ideology.
talk to the camera right now while we're waiting, right? All right, guys. So I'm waiting. I can't hear anything. I'm supposed to be jumping on with the Blaze guys in a minute. The crowd's going nuts behind us. The governor is talking. I hate to be talking while the governor is talking, but we're trying to jump on with the governor. Whoop.
People have come here because our policies work.
Here's what we're going to do. Since I can't hear because it's so loud here, you'll just give me a thumbs up when the Blaze guys throw to me, and I'll just say hi to Glenn and everybody and see what happens. It's going to be hard to hear anybody. I hope you're appreciating the alternate version and the different angle that you're getting here, seeing this a little bit differently than normal. A little hard. I got a voice in this ear. I got the governor in that ear. There's a lot going on, but it's a big party here. People obviously feeling great about things, and it's also great, I should say, it's great to see the First Lady out there, Casey DeSantis, obviously, her cancer in full remission, an incredible recovery by her, and then to be out and about is just absolutely awesome. So I'm just gonna be quiet for a moment so you can hear the governor, and then I'll hopefully be able to hear the Blaze folks when they chime in.
We offer a ray of hope that better days still lie ahead. I am proud of our achievements in this state. I am honored by your support, and I look forward to the road ahead. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race in this first term.
That's right.
We've accomplished more than anybody thought possible 4 years ago, but we've got so much more to do, and I have only begun to fight. God bless you all.
That's my Blaze audio check for those of you watching at home. I'm going to jump on with Glenn and the Blaze guys in just a moment, then I'll finish up solo here. Man, it's pandemonium here, right? This is pure joy in this room right now. Sweet Florida indeed. Wow. Wow. That's a good man, that's a good family. All right, I'm going to get ready. In a minute, Daphne, you just give me a thumbs up when I'm on, because it's going to be hard to hear. Wow, that's great. Glenn, I don't think I'm going to be able to hear you. It is absolute pandemonium here. Governor DeSantis just left the state about 20 seconds ago with the First Lady and his kids. Glenn, I got to tell you, and I wish I could hear you, and hopefully my guys, maybe they can tell me what you're saying on the iPad. It is so loud in here. People are so appreciative of being free. All right, I'll shake your hand. Okay. It's just absolute joy in here. Florida has done it right. This is the blueprint for America. It's why I left California and why I moved to the free state. It sort of feels like the culmination of all of the things that I've been talking about for years have taken root here. All the things that you've been talking about way before me. And the joy and the fight, it's here. I hope the rest of the night continues to go well for Republicans, but no matter what happens here on out, we have a beacon of hope, and I think that's what maybe we've all needed more than anything else. And Glenn, if you want to chime in, I'll try to have my guys type it out so that I can read it, at least. I can see you, but I don't know. Hi, how are you? I love you too. All right, good to see you, man. All right, Phoenix will type it out. If you, yeah, Glenn, you can go ahead. All right. Okay. We tried it with the Blaze. Glenn, I hope you could hear something I was saying. On that note, guys, I know this was a little messy, but I've enjoyed every moment of it. I hope you have too. I hope you got to see things from a little bit of a different perspective. And really just how cool. I lived in California less than a year ago. Hi, how are you? And there's just such goodness here. And let's see how the rest of the night goes. But even if you're living in a place that isn't having great results, although everything's looking pretty good at the moment, just know there are beacons of hope. If you live in America, you've got the footvote. You can make choices for yourself. You can live how you want to live. You can find freedom. It might be in sweet Florida, or maybe it's in Tennessee or Texas, or wherever it might be. But man, I love this country. I love this state. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Hi. Thank you guys. And we'll play out to the music for a couple minutes. And I'm going to that bar. I'm going to the fancy bar over there. Have a great night, everybody. God bless America. God bless you guys. And that's it for now. We're back in studio tomorrow. See ya.